Hi everyone, so here I am again with another video. Now this is one of the most important video everyone expects, right? Because you will be checking the answers by yourself for your practice workbook. So these are the answers for chapter 6 lesson 3, which were polynomials. Okay, so let's start with the first question. So question 1 to 3, 1, 2, 3, they want you to find the degree and the number of terms only. So read the question before you answer. They did not ask you to name or classify the polynomial. They just said find the degree and the number of terms. So as well, you can see, you know how to find the term degrees now. So the degree of this is 3. The degree of this is 1, and this has no variable, so it's 0 degree. So degree is 3, that is we choose the highest degree, that's 3. And then terms are going to be 1, 2, 3 terms. Easy. So for this, the degree is going to be 1 because the variable alone has an exponent of 1. And then here, the degree is going to be 2. So we choose the highest degree, that's 2. So how many terms do we have here? We have 1, 2. So terms are 2 as well. These are very easy questions. So here again, the degree is 2 for this term. And for this, it's 1. For this, it's 0 degree, and for this, it's 4. So the highest one is going to be 4. So the degree for this is going to be 4. Now, terms are 1, 2, 3, 4. So the terms are 4. Now, you might think if the degree is 3, maybe the terms are also 3. No, it's not like that. So you have to be quite careful when you're solving these questions, okay? Don't think if the degree is 3, terms are 3. This by coincidental, this is that degree is also same and the terms are also same, so you have to be careful. Okay, now question 4, 5, 6, they said write each polynomial in standard form, then give the leading coefficient. Now we know how to find the degree, right? So to write the polynomial in standard form, we have to find the degree of each term. So let's find it first. The degree for this is going to be 2. There is no degree for this as there is no variable. Now for the degree for this is going to be 8, and the degree for this is going to be 1. So to write the polynomial in standard form, you have to arrange from the greatest degree to the least one. So the greatest one is 8, so that means this term comes first, then this term comes next, this comes, then finally last comes the one without the variable. So in standard form, your polynomial will look something like this. Now, what is the leading coefficient? Leading means what's the first number which is here. In this term, which is the first number? The leading number is 4. So the leading coefficient is 4. Okay, so this one, the degree is 0. This one, the degree is 1 as j is alone, so there is always a 1. Here the degree is 3 and here the degree is 2. So what comes first? First always the greatest one. So 3j to the power of 3. Then comes the second degree, that is 4j square minus 50j plus 7. You have to be careful about these signs as the sign which is in front of a number belongs to that. Okay, so what about the leading coefficient? The first term, which is leading, the first term in the standard form, what is the first term? That's 3j cubed. So the number which is there is 3. So the leading coefficient is 3. Question number 6, the degree for 6k is going to be 1. Then 5k to the power of 4 is going to be 4. For this, it's going to be 3. And for 3k squared, it's going to be 2. So arrange them from the greatest degree. It's going to be 5k to the power of 4, then minus 4k cubed, plus 3k squared, then plus 6k. Okay, so this is the standard form, and the leading coefficient is the first term, which is in the first term, the first number in the term. So that's going to be 5. So the leading coefficient for this question is going to be 5. Okay, question number 7, 8, and 9. Now here you have to write the names. They said classify each polynomial. So when they say classify, that means name according to their degree and the number of terms. So here, again, here we have degrees 2. Here the degree 0. So we take the leading, that's the highest one, that's degrees 2. And we have terms. We have 2 terms. So according to the terms were 2, there are two terms, right? So this and this. Before it was 3, then I had to change it. So fine. So degree is 2, terms are 2. So accordingly, from the table which we learned from the previous video, I told you you need to memorize that. You cannot always see from that table and write. So if the degree was 2, it was quartic. And if there were two terms, it was bi. As I said, 2 was bi. So quartic binomial. Okay, this is how you classify them. Classify the polynomials according to degree and number of terms. Now here the degree is 1, here no degree, it's 0 degree, and here the degree is 4. So the highest degree is 4, and how many terms we have? 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be quartic, because 4 degrees and 3 terms means it's going to be trinomial. So quartic trinomial. Then question number 9, here the degree is going to be 1, here the 3, then here it's going to be 2, for this it's going to be 4. So the leading degree is 4, and how many terms do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 terms. So we have 4 degrees and 4 degree and 4 terms. So that means it's going to be a quartic polynomial. As you know, before more than 2, it should be quartic polynomial. Okay, there was a small mistake here, as I forgot to write D and D here. So if there were 2 degrees that needed to be quadratic, sorry for that previous mistake which I did, then I realized the D was missing. So this is going to be, if there are the degrees 2, that's going to be a quadratic binomial. So if you have erased and corrected your one, so sorry for that, just correct it back to your one, saying it is quadratic binomial. Okay, so let's move on. Now here you have to evaluate each polynomial for the given value. In the previous video, explanation video, I showed you the same question. Okay, so you have to be very careful when you're doing these kinds of questions. So it's going to be 3m plus 8 minus 2m cubed, for m equals -1. Okay, so this is going to be wherever you see m, you need to replace it with -1. So all, as I told you also in the previous video, you have to be very careful when you're solving this. Never solve this as -1 multiplied by 3. It's wrong. So it has to be, if you think -1 to the power of 3 is -3, it is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because you need to be multiplying -1 3 times. So when you multiply -1 3 times, you will get -1 as well. So that means -1 multiplied by -1 multiplied by -1 is going to give you a -1. So now you replace it. So here it's going to be 3 multiplied by -1 plus 8 minus 2 multiplied by -1. Then 3 multiplied by -1 will give you -3 plus 8. -2 multiplied by -1 will give you a +2. So 8 plus 2 is 10, minus 3 will give you a 7. So you have to be extra, please be extra careful when you're solving exponents. Let's move on to the next question. Next question says 4y to the power of 5 minus 6y plus 8y square minus 1 for y is equal to -1 again. So again, you have to replace y with -1, right? So this is how your polynomial will look once you replace the letters, variable, right? Okay, so wherever there is y, replace that with 1, -1. So first let's solve the exponents. So here again it's -1 to the power of 5. So -1 to the power of 5 is not -5. Please do not do this mistake. It's not -1 multiplied by 5. It's -1 being multiplied 5 times. So if you multiply -1 5 times, that's going to give you again a -1. It will never give you a -5. Okay, then here -1 square. Now -1 square is again not -2. It will be +1, because -1 multiplied by -1 will give you 1 only. And that too, it's going to be a +1. Okay, so when you rewrite your equation will be like this: 4 -1, that's because we solved this exponent and got -1. Then again this is the same. Now -1 square is going to give you a +1 minus 1. So now let's solve this. 4 multiplied by -1 is going to give you a -4. -6 multiplied by -1 is going to be a +6. 8 multiplied by 8, 1 will give you 8, and then minus 1. Sometimes most of the students, they just overlook this part. It's because many of the students do that. So all what you can do is always multiply or draw a rectangle around the polynomial so that you will not leave out any um, any term from the polynomial. But if you leave this, your answer is going to be wrong to compare to what we are going to get. So solve this. It's going to be 8 plus 6 is 14, minus 4 is 10, minus 1 is 9. So if you solve this, you will get the answer as 9. Okay, so the answer for question number 11 is 9. Okay, the last one we have for evaluating the polynomial is 2w plus w cubed minus half w squared for w equals 2. As usual, replace w wherever you see with 2. So this is how your polynomial will look once you replace the numbers. So again, the first thing always to do is solve the exponents. So 2 to the power of 3 will give you 8. And 2 to the power of 2 will give you 4. 2 squared will give you 4. Right? Now solve the multiplication. 2 multiplied 2 will give you 4. Half multiplied by 4 will give you a 2. Half of 4 is 2. Half of 4, simple, is 2. So 4 plus 8 is 12. 12 minus 10 will give you a 10. So the answer for question number 12 is 10. If you think you have messed up some steps, you can pause the video here, go through your steps and see what is the mistake you have done and then redo it again. Okay, now the word problem here. An egg is thrown off the top of a building. Okay, I have no idea why the egg was thrown off from a building. Its height in meters above the ground can be approximated by the polynomial 300 plus 2t minus 4.9t squared, where t is the time since it was thrown in seconds. How high is the egg above the ground after 5 seconds? Who is this person who's going to throw eggs from top of a building? Maybe someone, okay, someone who needs to do it. Let's see. So this is the polynomial given to us. We are going to solve it. So what's the value of t given? 5. So wherever you see t, you replace it with 5. All right. So first solve the exponent. It's going to be 25. Then multiply. That's going to give you 2 5s are 10. 4.9 multiplied by 25 will give you 122.5. Now all what you have to do is add and subtract. 300 plus 10 is 310 minus 122.5 will give you 187.5. So after 5 seconds, the egg will be 187.5 meters above the ground. Part B, how high is the egg above the ground after 6 seconds? Okay. Now this was after 5 seconds. So of course, after 6 seconds means it will be more down, right? It will be falling. So you have to get a number less than 187.5. So the polynomial remains the same. What you have to do is replace t with 6 because the question is for 6 seconds. That question was for 5 seconds. So once you replace, your polynomial will look like that. So this is going to be 6, first solve the exponent. So 6 to the power of 2 or 6 squared will give you 36. So this is going to be 2 6 are 12. Then 4.9 multiplied by 36 is going to be 176.4. All right, then just solve it. 300 plus 12 is going to be 312 minus 176.4 will give you 135.6. Please, if anyone finds this person who is throwing the egg from top of a building, please write in the comment the name of the person who is throwing the eggs. Okay, so we have done him a help by calculating the distance of the egg and the ground. All right, so if you have done this, well, it's a good job. If you have done all perfect, that's an excellent job done. It's okay to get mistakes. You learn by making mistakes, as even still I also make mistakes. That's how we learn, right? So there's nothing wrong in making mistakes. Check your answers well, correct the answers if anything is wrong. I mean, of course you have to correct it. If you don't understand anything, definitely you can ask me again. So till we meet again in another video, keep checking your answers carefully so that we can check you will be confident until you check the next one.